Hey, how are you doing this evening? Welcome to AMPspirationTTV, and I am your host, the Plum Queen. Well, it is Wednesday, Woden's Day, the middle of the week, but of course, I appreciate all of you guys giving me your time and your energy. All right, make sure y'all hit that share button. Share, because you know we have to make AMPspiration go viral. All right, well, today I have a very good topic. Like I said, I have been inspired, so I already had this in mind, and I hope that you guys have been thinking about it. I definitely mentioned this on Monday, and this is definitely an important topic to talk about. This is something that plagues, I'm going to use that word, plagues our community. We have this huge misconception on life. We think that, well, at least we feel that we need to buy and purchase and give our children all of the materialistic things, that we growing up did not get. A lot of us lived, and I don't want to, poverty to me is a really strong word because I've never lived in poverty, but I definitely lived in the projects growing up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, grew up with not having certain things. We had to wear hand-me-down clothes. We couldn't go to certain places, that other children couldn't go because of, their parents' finances. And somehow we have taught ourselves that this is what success is. That's what happiness is. If I had these things, then my childhood would have been better. Or, if I was able to go to these certain places, then my life would be better. And that is so not true. I know children that didn't have anything, but they were, cool with just, running around and, in the backyard, just having some place to express themselves. Those materialistic things are honestly really not important. What's important is to teach your children the things that you did not learn. All the things that you talk about, we always say this, if I knew what I learned, if I knew then what I know now, I would have made so many different other choices. This is a cliche phrase that people say. So why is it that we continue this cycle and continue to teach that to our kids? Why aren't we teaching our children and making their lives easier? We are so focused, and it's a society who has us this way, but we're just so focused on materialistic things. And don't get me wrong, I understand that, making sure your children have shoes on their feet and, having certain things and having access, to certain things is definitely a good thing. More experience, makes a different life. But at the same time, wouldn't it be better to teach your children, how not to get into debt? How much easier your life would have been if your mom would have taught you, how to balance a checkbook. Or if she would have warned you, taught you, credit cards aren't the right thing, They're actually really not necessary. Just think about that. We are just we have this huge idea that, that houses and cars, and those are the things, that makes you successful. And they don't. None of that means anything if you can't utilize that. All that schooling that you go to means nothing if you can't make that work for yourself. There are so many people who did not go to college, who did not go to school, didn't have these certain fundamentals, but they figured that out on themselves and they taught their children differently. They're breaking cycles, and this is something that we need to do. And you don't have to be rich or Jay-Z or some type of celebrity to do this. You just simply have to change what you feel is important. We have to relearn. We need to unlearn and we need to relearn. That's what needs to happen. Stop trying to give your child, spend all of this money on Christmas, every Christmas, giving them all these things that they're going to break within a month, that has no real value, that's not going to teach your children anything, because as they get older, all you're honestly teaching them is that stuff. I need more stuff. I want more stuff. You're giving me stuff. So I need stuff. And as they get older and your money dwindles, because guess what? Money don't grow on trees, but the older they get, the more expensive things get. The more, the more valuable things that they want. But you haven't taught them the value of money in the first place. Wouldn't that be, you know what I'm saying, a more valuable, you know what I'm saying, lesson? Teaching them instead of just telling them, you know, money don't grow on trees. You can't get, you know what I'm saying, you can't touch nothing when you're going to store. Why don't you teach them the value of money? I understand that our parents didn't teach us this. I feel you. There's a lot of things that my mom didn't teach me that I had to learn on my own. And that's because her mom didn't teach her. And so on and so forth. And we could keep going back. But somebody has to, you know what I'm saying, hit the buck and say, buck stops here. Look at your life. What are the things that you know that you know what I'm saying, that would have benefited you and made your life a whole lot easier had you known, had you been taught this as a child? And teach your children that. Stop buying them things and teach them the actual value of money. Teach them about saving. You know, I had this really great idea that, you know, I don't have kids, but, you know, I do want some. And, you know, and low-key, I feel like the universe is just setting up my life so that I can, you know, I guess raise my children the way that I truly want to. And I'll give you an example. When it comes down to paying rent, now this is something, you know, once I turned 18 and, you know, I was old enough to get a job, of course, you know, my mom told me I needed to pay something. You got to pay where you stay. You have to understand responsibility. Absolutely. But the difference is, what I want to do is, I don't want to actually be in a position to have to take money from my child. I personally feel that my children are only supposed to take care of me, you know what I'm saying, when I can no longer take care of myself. So I don't want to have myself in a business, and this is no dig at nobody that's in a situation. You know what I'm saying? We're here right now to make changes. If you have made a mistake or you've done something that's put you in a situation, this now is to give you a different perspective so you can do things differently. So by no means is me, you know, digging at your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on public assistance. I can't talk about nobody. You know, just saying. Okay? But how I want it is, I will, you know, have, you know, my children will have, I guess, you know what I'm saying, bills to pay or something like that. But I'm not going to actually take their money. I'm going to make sure that I take care of my household. It's my household, my rules, you know what I'm saying, all that. So I'm going to be the sole responsibility for that, at least me and my husband, or however that works out. But what I will do is that money that I do tell them that is for their rent, I'm going to set aside and I'm going to put it in an account for them. So when it is time for them to go out on their own and get their own place, they're starting with something. And they're actually paying, you know what I'm saying, in hindsight, for their own first apartment or their own first whatever it is. I'm going to teach them the value of that. When someone gives them money, I'm going to teach, you know, you save some, you know what I'm saying, you spend some, you know what I mean, and, you know, you use some for responsibilities. I want to teach my kids that from small. So when they get older, they understand the value of money. They're not going to want every little thing that they see on television because they understand the value of it. They understand that this doesn't grow on trees, that it's actually hard, you know what I'm saying, to get money. Little kids don't understand that. All they see is, I want this and mommy gets that. You know what I'm saying? So all I got to do is ask mommy. But they don't truly understand what mommy and daddy have to go through to get that. And the reason why they don't understand that is because you're not teaching them. Children are a lot smarter than you give them credit for. You give these little kids these tablets, they're 1 and 2 years old and can run it better than you can. So why do we you know, limit our children with the important stuff? Like you give them that tablet to entertain them. Why don't you use that as a tool to teach them? That's only going to be better for you. This saves you money. You don't truly understand how you'll be helping yourself by helping your kids learn things that you had to learn the hard way. Like if I have children, they'll never have a credit card ever, especially not one to, you know what I'm saying, a clothing store or some dumb shit like that. That's what got me jacked up right now. Now, you know what I'm saying, I'm on disability and things of that nature, so, you know what I'm saying, the universe has set up my life where I'm in a position where I have a little relief on that right now, and I can make some changes in the future and then take care of that. But in most cases, people don't have that privilege. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have credit card debt, you know what I'm saying, that's messing you up all the way. Your credit score is jacked up, you can't purchase this, you know what I'm saying, you can't think about this, you can't get a loan for that. See, these are the things that we need to teach our kids. Now that's just on finances. How about we talk about relationships? Like, we think that, we're grown folks, is grown folks business. You got your little man on the side and, you don't bring him around your kid a little bit or whatever. So you think you need to be an example. You watched your mother go through certain things and go through certain things. So, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you do something different? You know what I'm saying? How about your court? Make sure the person, that you're with, is treating you properly, because your children are watching. You can tell your kids all day about what type of man to be with, or who you don't think is right for them, but they're not listening to none of that. They're watching you and your behavior and how you relate to men or how you relate to women or vice versa. So if you saw that your mom was in, turmoil relationships your whole life, let's not get into those type of relationships. You know the signs. Your parents can teach you one or two things. They can show you what to do and show you what not to do. And it's honestly up to you to pick how you do that. Your choice in your own life. And you can do different for your kids. You can make better choices before you have the kids. Preventative measures. We got to do things differently. Start teaching your children what your parents didn't teach you. That's what's going to make a difference, in our future. This is how we can, we can save, honestly, our youth. By being better examples and, and teaching them the things that we had to learn on our own. I know it wasn't fair that we didn't learn this stuff. And a lot of us, don't even understand. It's a subconscious thing. It's almost like you feel, well, no one didn't do this for me, so why should I do that for you? And that's a very sad mentality to have when we're the ones bringing these babies into this world. Having a child, that's a choice. Outside, unless you've been raped. And even then, it is still a choice. No matter how you agree or disagree with that, it is still a choice to bring forth life. So we have to start making better choices. We have to find, the true value, in life now. And it ain't materialistic stuff. It's not buying a brand new 2019. It is not, trying to get that $250,000 house, in Buckhead with all the rich folk at. It's not buying them Jordans. It's not that. I'm going to tell you something. When I was in high school, matter of fact, I'm going to take it back to junior high school. In junior high school, I went to junior high school in Corona, New York. So it was, not too far from my house where I lived in Lefrak City. So it was a big Spanish, community there. You had Lefrak, it was a mixture of black, got some Russian in there. And you also had a lot of Asians that went to my junior high school. And the majority of the black kids used to make fun of the Russians and make fun of the Asians because of the way that they dressed. They always had, busted sneakers or, no name brand clothes at all. They always looked weird, had their glasses, just, they had no type of fashion sense at all. And they got teased for that. I can even remember in high school, the same thing. A lot of the Asian, and I'm going to talk about sophomore year, they used to make fun of them. But guess what? Their mamas and daddies, they own businesses. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, there was this Asian kid that used to get picked on, but he was one of the first peoples to have an iPod. When iPods first came out, matter of fact, they weren't even out yet. They were about 2 years before Apple, I believe, or whatever the first company was to bring them out. They were about a year ahead. Because their parents were into technology and had access to that type of stuff. You know why? Because they wasn't spending, you know what I'm saying, frivolous money on clothes and materialistic dumb shit. They made their children focus on their studies. This is why they were getting into all of the science schools. So now they're running companies. They might not have had all that materialistic stuff as a children, but they got property, equity, businesses, generational wealth, residual income. These are the things that they had because they wasn't wasting their money on looking good. The only reason why those children are like that is because that's what their parents instilled in them. And we need to do the same. We honestly feel that the way we look, you know what I'm saying, determines our value. There are people right now that think they're better than me because they wear, you know what I'm saying, name brand clothes, and I shop at Rainbow or Burlington or someplace like that. Their value in themselves is because you wear Jordans, or you wear a $2,000 weave or wig, or you can afford Mac. These are the things that we value. You wear all of that and have all of that stuff, but we're broke. You have bad credit, but you got all this stuff. We, you know what I'm saying, we can afford $600 phones. But we have no assets. Our children don't know how, you know what I'm saying, again, don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, balance a checkbook. Don't know anything about credit. Can't spell cryptocurrency. Things that are of value, you know what I'm saying, that is going along with our future and our prosperity. This is what we need to be teaching our kids. This is what we need to be showing them. We need to show you the value of family and, you know what I'm saying, and as a community. We always say that, you know, the black family, I saw this meme earlier that said that, you know, we have to get back, we have to rebuild the black family, which is absolutely true. But building the family is built, you know what I'm saying, is a group of individuals. So as individuals, we got to get right. Or there is no rebuilding the family. So mama and daddy got to be right if the kids going to be right. Isn't that what the family consists of? That's how you start your family. So as men, you know what I'm saying, as women, we got to be on point. We got, you know what I'm saying, we got to be, you know what I'm saying, the women that we want our daughters to be. We want to teach our daughters, you know what I'm saying, to be the women, you know what I'm saying, that our sons, you know what I'm saying, are going to marry. This is what we need. Brothers, you know what I'm saying, our men, you have to be the example of, you know what I'm saying, of be those fathers. We have to show our kids who we're supposed to be. It is needed. That is the only way this is going to work. So please, unlearn, you know what I'm saying, that materialistic shit. It means nothing. Nothing. Those Jordans is not going to get you out of poverty. It's not about to get you out your 9 to 5. It's not about to unite us. It's not about to get us equality. None of that. But teaching your children financial literacy will. Teaching them how to love themselves will. Teaching them how to love each other will. That's what our children need to learn. And it's up to you to teach them that. School's not going to teach them that. That's up to us. And I mean as a community. Just because I don't have physical children does not mean that, you know, it's not my responsibility, you know what I'm saying, to be that example. We are responsible for us all. It is my job to teach, you know what I'm saying, this is me, you know what I'm saying, trying to do that help. You may not know this information. Well, I do. So here's your, you know, so here you go. Now teach that to your kids. Because guess what? Your children are going, you know what I'm saying? The choices that you make with your children will affect me. I'm a part of this community. When I'm old, and you know what I'm saying, and then my time is done, it's going to be your kids that have to carry on, you know what I'm saying, what we got going on. They're the ones that are going to be making the decisions for our lives. So we have to get to them. They're the ones that's going to make the difference. So we have to teach them different. You cannot expect these kids to just grow up by themselves and just figure that shit out. They have to be taught. You know how I know? Because we needed to be taught. Had we been taught, we probably wouldn't be in the situations that we're in. Right? So you can't get upset at your parents not teaching you something and then you learn it and then don't teach it to your kids. They are our future. Make the things that you know what I'm saying, the things that you instill into your children relevant. Now, you may not can control the school system, you know what I'm saying? If you can homeschool your kids, you should absolutely do that. But if you can't, you're sending them, you know what I'm saying, into a school system that is not teaching them everything that's going to help. You know this because you went through the school. You know for a fact that the majority of stuff that you learned in school, you do not use now in your everyday life. So therefore, it's your job to teach your kids what you did not learn. Making their life easier makes your life easier. If you teach them how, you know what I'm saying, how to do certain things, then you're going to be straight. Right? They are your reflection. That's your legacy. Prepare them. This is a representation of you. Because a lot of like I said, a lot of things we don't do is because we're being selfish. Because we didn't learn this. So we don't feel like we need to go the extra mile to teach this. And you do. And if you're not going to do it solely for your children, which you should, damn it, do it for yourself. Don't you expect your kids to take care of you when you want, you know what I'm saying, once it's your time? Don't you expect them to take on that responsibility? Then teach your kids how to take care of you. Make sure they got their shit together. So when you leave here, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Think about that. We really don't think about this stuff. If you don't teach your kids how to take care of themselves, when you die, what is life going to be like for them? Do you really think about that? I don't think we do. I know several people, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, they had good parents, but they didn't teach them anything. They just gave them stuff. Oh, I didn't do this right, so let me give this to you to pacify you. Let me give you this. Let me get you out of this trouble. Instead of teaching you how to handle real life shit. And then they leave this earth. And leave these children here who are now grown, are now adults, and now is expected to do and behave in certain ways. But how can they when you haven't taught them how to? And then these people have kids. See how that works? See that cycle? And then when they grow up and doing, you know what I'm saying, and doing, you know what I'm saying, crazy stuff, people forget they weren't taught. No, they don't. Peace, sister. We got to do better, guys. Our future depends on it. Our children's future depends on it. You know what I'm saying? So many people yell out and scream out how much you love your kids all day. I'll die behind mine. This mine. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But you're honestly not truly willing to do what is necessary for them. You do what's comfortable for you. and your ego and your traditions? Are you willing to go outside of the box to do what's actually, necessary for your children to thrive? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. That's really it. I don't know how else to, to phrase that. Teach your children what you weren't taught. Don't buy them what your mother could not buy you. Because half of that shit is unnecessary. Matter of fact, I'm going to say the majority of that shit isn't necessary. Think about it. Didn't you make it without it? Was your life really that bad simply because you didn't have this toy? Nah. But see, if your mom and your dad were teaching you the things that you need to know, instead of worrying about those materialistic things, that wouldn't even bother you. Because again, there are people in other countries and other places who have less and their children are fine. All of that is perception. You thinking that you have to have this house or have this car or have materialistic things, to have a good life. There are people right now that, what makes them happy about life? Having water to drink, having a bed to sleep in, being able to stand on, stand on the ground, just being with the people that they love, just being able to nourish their bodies. Somewhere in the world, that's success to somebody. Like when I think about that, I think about monks. They live the most meager lives. They don't have TV, jewelry, none of that. They live in mountains, and the most of their day is spent meditating. And they're fulfilled doing that. Their life, their life is fulfilled doing that. They don't have to deal with none of the shit that we deal with. Taxes and insurance and mortgages and all of that jazz that you got to deal with to have these materialistic things. Because, you just don't have a house. You got to pay property taxes, and you have to pay a mortgage, and you have to pay back loans to a bank. And if you can't pay such and such and such, guess what? They can take your motherfucking house. And the same thing with your car and anything else materialistic that you can purchase. And guess what? When you die, you can't take it with you. But you spend your whole life trying to accumulate these things. That don't make sense. Does not make sense. We have to do better. I'll say it again. Teach your children what you weren't taught. Don't try to give them what your parents couldn't give you. All right? When it comes down to finances, teach your children the value of money. You keep telling your kids that money doesn't grow on trees. Well, you need to tell them where it comes from then. Make them understand that it just doesn't come out of the sky. Show them how it's made. Show them how easy it can come and easy it can go. Show them how to utilize it to their benefit. Show them how to save money. That's something that I wish I was taught at a younger age. I'm an impulsive buyer. If I see something, that I feel that I can use or find some use for it, I'll buy it. When very well it's not necessarily a need. I'll find a purpose for it, but it's not really necessary. Now, I'm better at that now, but 10 years ago I wasn't. So now I'm in situations, because of the decisions I made 10 years ago. It is what it is. I don't have children though. And if I do, I'm going to teach them different. That's why I'm going to make sure that I am financially in place when I have kids. So anything dealing with that is going to be a lesson for them. It's never going to be, I need my kid to hurry up and grow up because we got bills to pay. And that's a mouth, you know what I'm saying, that I'm feeding. And now you're in the position to help feed yourself. I don't want to put myself in that position. I'm going to break that cycle. I'm going to teach my children, you know what I'm saying, teach them, you know, about all different types of currencies. I'm going to have businesses, you know what I'm saying. If I'm going to have a family business, right? Don't I need to teach my children how to run my business? They need to know that because they need to know how to do it right. I'm not just about to build some empire, you know what I'm saying, and then have a bunch of spoiled kids that know nothing about the value, you know what I'm saying, and then they ruin my, you know what I'm saying, all of my hard work. It has happened. How many times have you seen it? These rich people, you know, have these spoiled ass kids, and legally, because they're whatever child, you know what I'm saying, the parent dies or they kill the parent off, because it happens. Now they done run, they own the company and just run the shit to the ground. After their parents spent 20, 30, some 40 some odd years to build this business up. So they wouldn't have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, the things that they dealt with growing up. A lot of rappers deal with that. And people in the industry, you know what I'm saying? Y'all were hustlers. In the struggle, made it through, you know what I'm saying, made it through music, got your legit thing going on. And now you have these kids that you done spoiled, and you know what I'm saying, and spent all these thousands and millions of dollars on them on dumb shit, but you haven't taught them about any struggle. The reason why you understand it is because you know what it is not to have. They don't know what that's like. And they get on TV, you know what I'm saying, just because you haven't taught them anything. That's counterproductive. Teach them what you had to learn on your own. Not give them what you had to get on your own. It's a waste. It's a waste of your hard work. And it's a disrespect to your struggle that you went through to get where you are, when your kids can just shit on it because they don't understand the value of it. And that ain't their fault. It's yours. Why do we put our kids out at 18? They're not ready. That too. That's a very good point. Exactly. There's a teen still added to that 18. And again, that's because of the choices that we make, Suzette. Because we watched our parents not do the right thing. And then we went on looking for love and having unprotected sex or whatever the case is. And then we have these children when we're not ready to have them. And then that puts us in positions to do things, you know what I'm saying, that we normally wouldn't. It's, you know what I'm saying, because we have to do what we have to do. We're honestly not there emotionally for our kids. So then they get into shit. And then that aggravates us because we got to work all these hours and do all of this and that and the third to put food on the table and all that. But your kids don't get that. And they shouldn't have to, because it's not their fault that they're here. They didn't tell you to open up your legs and have them knowing that you weren't prepared for that. So guess what? Now they got to figure out life on their own because you're working and not there to teach them. And then that aggravates you. And then 9 times out of 10, you have another child. So now as your child is 18, you got to worry about the babies now. So you don't even have the energy to deal with your older child who honestly needs your ass right now the most. Because your little children just do what you say. They just need to eat and sleep and you know what I'm saying and all that. It's your 18-year-olds who are about to go out and live life. They need your guidance more than anything. Because now they're in a stage where they have to make decisions for themselves. Your little children, they do what you say. So now you have to compromise on how you know what I'm saying, how you take it. You have to it's almost like you have to neglect one of your children for the other. And somehow you think that's the right thing. Well, because, these are my babies. Well, that was your baby too. Why didn't you think about that before you had the second one? Decisions. We have to be accountable. I'm going to have another show about accountability, you know what I'm saying, as far as women go. We have to do better. These children do not have to be here. If we would do what we're supposed to do, you wouldn't have to do what you have to do. Pregnancy is 1,000% preventable. We are in the year, or you know what I'm saying, in the era of information. Condoms, doctors, all types of campaigns. There's no reason why there are unwanted children out here. There is no real excuse on why there are children out, you know what I'm saying, that people are having babies that aren't ready for them. Keep your legs closed. Like, for real. We got to start taking responsibility. You can't wait till these kids get here and then all these problems about, and then you want to start pointing fingers about who's supposed to be doing what. You should have been thinking about that. There's no excuse. You've seen it a million times. If it hasn't happened in your family, you've definitely seen it in your neighborhood. If you haven't seen it in your neighborhood, you've absolutely seen it on TV. No excuse. We have to do better. So again, teach your kids what you weren't taught. Period. That is the only way that we're going to have different results. Because again, we're adults now, and the majority of us are already set in our ways. It's very hard, like they say, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Well, this is why we have to program our kids so they can know this now. So when they get older, they don't have these issues. I'm glad you brought that up, Suzette. Stop kicking your kids out at 18. They're not adults. That is not an adult. They're not even old enough to buy a drink. Fuck out of here. They're not adults. You're not even an adult at 21. Let's keep it a buck. Between the ages of 21 and 25, it's like you're just a big-ass kid. You're a kid that now has adult freedom. Let me phrase it like that. This is why you can't get your insurance in certain areas. You can't get it before a certain age, because they understand that you're not, and you know what I'm saying, going to be responsible about certain things. That's why insurance company, they ain't with that shit. They about their money. They don't want to be pulling out, policies and giving that money back that y'all paying them. Don't you know that? They taking it so they can keep it. So they don't want to deal with that. So this is why you have to be a certain age, you know what I'm saying, for your premium to be, you know what I'm saying, a certain amount. Because they understand that you're not that responsible yet. You're just learning how to be responsible. You're just learning to go out on your own and live by yourself, or go away to college, or whatever it is that you're doing. You're just spreading your wings. You're not an adult yet. So please, stop doing that. Because it's those who get kicked out at 18 that go in, have sex, have these babies, and you see how this works? Children are having children. And how you going to expect a child? What do you expect out of a child? Truly, what do you expect out of them? How do you truly expect them to teach their own kids if they're still a kid themselves? We got to do better. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I understand it's hard. Parenting is hard. Raising children is hard. I get that. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Because it's hard, you need to start teaching them relevant shit to make it easier. It's hard because you're not teaching your kids what you need to teach them. You're just giving them shit. Wasting your hard-earned money. That back-breaking work that you're doing on a regular basis. You're wasting your time if you're not teaching your kids better. This is how you can become, you know what I'm saying, be in your 70s and 80s and whatnot, and you die, and your kids can't bury you. It's sad. We gotta do better. Again, I love y'all. I'm not trying to bash you at all. I'm not trying to make it seem that I'm better than you. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, when you know better, you do better. It's okay. You've done this. This is what you were taught. Cool. Change the way you think. I'm teaching you something different. Do it for your babies. Do it for yourself. I keep telling y'all, we are all one and the same. What happens to your family happens to my family, happens to the next person's family, because we are all a part of this community. Everything that we do affects one another. Every man is potentially my father, my grandfather, my uncle, my cousin, my brother, my son. Every woman is potentially my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, my cousin, my sister. And if y'all ain't right, I'm not right. If your kids ain't right, we ain't right. This is an extension to the wake-up call. I've been overly inspired by that. Being at that event with you, that experience in itself, you know what I'm saying, just made me feel like I need to do more. Because I've seen people who have been, you know what I'm saying, in these trenches, in these streets, you know what I'm saying, in this fight for years, for decades. And they've been doing it on their own fronts and debating with one another on the way. And to see them all come together despite our differences to come on one accord, that's what we need. I learned a lot listening, and I'm saying I didn't even get a chance to really sit down and listen, because I was helping. But the little nuggets that I did get got me at the point where I got 2 weeks worth of topics to talk about. I got so much to talk about. There's so many lanes, there's so many issues for us to tackle. And this is why we need to focus. We got too much to do. It's too much to fix. Seriously. We got to do better. Change what you value. Again, I can't tell you how to live your life. I can't tell you what, you know what I'm saying, I guess holidays to celebrate or none of that. But just rethink what you do in your life. When Christmas and them things come around, think about what you possibly can do that is more productive. Instead of buying toys, buy your baby some books. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you take them somewhere? You know, if you want to really spend some bread, take them on a dream trip. Take them to another country where you can teach them something that they can see and touch and feel and actually utilize in their life. Give them that foundation. And if you give your children that foundation, guess what? That materialistic stuff will just come. It's going to come with the territory. But if you're just buying stuff, that stuff can be taken, No one can take this up here. What you learn, what you put in your brain, can't nobody take from you. They can take materialistic stuff from you. They can take that. But if you don't have the mind up here, you can't get it back. That's what you need to teach your kids. Give them the tools to create anything. So no matter what happens, they can recreate their life. You can lose everything in a fire. It doesn't even have to be as drastic as you just lose. Something tragic can happen and you can lose everything. But if your children have the knowledge, have financial literacy, know how to save money, know how to do, you know what I'm saying, know how to do strategy, they can re-get that. They can rebuild that like this. But if you just give somebody a whole bunch of materialistic stuff and they don't know how they got it, don't know how to maintain it, and it gets snatched from them, this is how people start offing themselves and jumping off buildings and putting pistols in their mouths. Because all they have is stuff. And without this stuff, they have nothing. They have no identity outside of stuff. Don't do that to your kids. Don't do that. Teach your children what your mom and daddy didn't teach you. Make their lives easier so they can make your lives easier. I love y'all. I promise you I do. But that's all I got for this evening. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in, giving me your time and energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I said, I'm not here to bash nobody. But, you know, we got to do things differently. You know what I'm saying? You want different results, you have to do something different. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. We want different results, we got to do something different. Okay? Teach the babies. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in on Friday. Have another topic that was inspired by my weekend, you know what I'm saying, in Hempstead. My sister Tazara Path. I've been very much inspired by her. She is, to me, the epitome of balancement. I definitely have to get her on my show so you can see firsthand what I'm talking about. But she speaks highly of, you know, the divine feminine and women and how we need to take our place and how we need to do certain things so we can actually get. We say that we got to talk about the black family and get that right. Well, honestly, that starts with us because we give birth to it. We gave birth to this world. So every man, woman, and child came out of a woman. So we need to get right. So I'm going to be talking about, you know what I'm saying, being happy about being divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? And what that really means. It was very much inspired by her. And I hope that she comes on and sees what I got going on. And hopefully I do her justice. All right. So make sure you tune in on Friday. It's Divine Feminine, you know what I'm saying, day on Friday. Okay. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all time and energy again. Make sure that you can always find AMPspirationTTV on the Comedic Alliance channel on YouTube. I am about a day or so away from launching AMPspirationTTV's YouTube page. I'm figuring that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Got my little creative thing going on. So I'm definitely going to have that there because I want to give you guys this inspiration in every form and fashion that I possibly can. I do know there's some people who tend to not be on Facebook. So I wanted to get this on another platform so you don't miss your dose of inspiration. All right. I love y'all. Today was the day of Tahuti. Hope you had on your yellow today on Wednesday. Love y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Be inspired. Peace.